Lisa Martinez stared at the screen in front of her, watching numbers and symbols dance across the display. She had been working at the New Horizon station for 3 years, and she had never seen anything like this before. The station floated in space near Jupiter, far from Earth, watching for signals from deep space. "Hey, Kevin, come look at this," she called to her friend across the room. Kevin Wright was the smart guy who studied alien languages, though they had never found any real aliens to talk to. Until now, maybe. Kevin pushed back from his desk and walked over to Lisa's station. His coffee mug was still warm in his hands. "What do you have?" "Something weird came in about an hour ago." "Look at these patterns," Lisa pointed to the screen. "It's not like anything we've seen before. The signal is coming from way out there, past the edge of our galaxy." Kevin set down his coffee and leaned closer. The patterns were strange but had a rhythm to them, numbers repeated in groups. Energy readings spiked and dropped in what looked like a pattern. How strong is this signal? That's the crazy part. It would take the power of several suns to send this message so far. Whatever sent this has technology we can't even dream of. Kevin felt a chill run down his back. "Have you told Captain Morrison yet?" "I was about to, but Kevin, look at this part here." Lisa pointed to a section of the data. "These look like math problems. Simple ones. 2 + 2 = 4. 3 × 3 = 9. Why would someone send math problems across the galaxy?" Before Kevin could answer, Captain Jake Morrison walked into the communications room. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. Running a space station was hard work, and it showed on his face. "Martinez, right? What's this I hear about a signal from outer space?" Morrison asked. Lisa turned to face him. "Sir, we picked up a transmission from beyond our galaxy. It's unlike anything we've ever recorded. The power behind it is enormous." Morrison moved to look at the screen. The numbers and patterns meant nothing to him, but he could see the power readings. "How enormous?" "At least the combined output of 5 or 6 star systems, sir," Lisa said. "Whatever civilization sent this is far more advanced than us." Morrison felt his stomach drop. Humanity had met aliens before, and it had not gone well. The Zephyrians had attacked without warning 40 years ago. Millions had died before Earth's forces could fight them off. Since then, humanity had been watching the stars, waiting for the next threat. "Send everything to Earth Defense Command immediately," Morrison ordered. "And keep monitoring the signal. I want to know if anything changes." "Sir, I think we should study this more before we panic," Kevin said. "These patterns look like they might be trying to communicate, not threaten." Morrison looked at Kevin with tired eyes. "Dr. Wright, I respect your expertise, but my job is to keep humanity safe. We've been burned before by aliens who seemed friendly at first. I'm not taking any chances." Back on Earth, General Patricia Stone sat in her office reading the report from New Horizon Station. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and a mind that never stopped working. She had fought in the Zephyrian War and still had scars from those battles. "Admiral Rodriguez, get in here," she called to her aide. Admiral Tony Rodriguez entered the office. He was younger than Stone, but had earned his rank through smart decisions and brave actions. "Yes, General? We have a problem." "Read this report from the Jupiter monitoring station." Stone handed him the file. Rodriguez read quickly, his face growing more serious with each page. "This signal is incredibly powerful. Whatever sent, it has technology that makes our best ships look like toys." "Exactly, and the timing worries me. We've been too quiet for too long. Maybe other alien races think we're weak now." "What are your orders, General?" Stone stood up and walked to the window. Outside, she could see the busy streets of New Geneva, where millions of people lived normal lives. They had no idea that danger might be coming from the stars. "Activate the Sol defense grid. Alert all colonies to prepare for possible evacuation, and get our fleet ready for combat. I want every ship we have armed and ready to fight." "General, shouldn't we try to understand the signal first? Maybe it's not a threat." Stone turned back to Rodriguez. "Admiral, I've seen what happens when we assume aliens are friendly. I won't let that happen again. We prepare for war first, ask questions later." Rodriguez nodded and left to carry out his orders. Within hours, warning signals were being sent to every human colony. The great defense platforms around Earth powered up their weapons. Ships that had been docked for repairs were quickly made ready for battle, back at New Horizon Station. Kevin Wright worked through the night studying the alien signal. He had called in his best people to help. Sam Parker was a codebreaker who could find patterns in anything. Nina Wells worked with computer minds that could think faster than any human. "I'm telling you, this isn't a weapon," Kevin said to his team. "Look at the mathematical sequences. They're teaching us their number system first, then building on it." "But why is it so powerful?" Sam asked. "If they just want to talk, why use so much energy?" "Maybe they're far away and need a strong signal to reach us," Nina suggested. "Or maybe they're in trouble and shouting for help." Kevin felt excited. He was starting to see patterns in the signal that looked like emotions: fear, desperation, need. "I think you're right, Nina. I think they're asking for help." "But help with what?" Sam asked. Before Kevin could answer, his computer beeped with an urgent message. More signals were being detected, and they were getting stronger. Something was moving through space toward the outer human colonies. Captain Morrison called his team together. "We just got word from Earth. The entire defense fleet is mobilizing. They think we're about to be invaded." "Sir, I really think we're making a mistake," Kevin said. "Give me more time to study the signal. I think these aliens are trying to ask for help, not threaten us." Morrison shook his head. "Dr. Wright, I admire your hope, but I can't risk. Human lives on a guess. Earth Command has made their decision. We're treating this as a potential invasion." Lisa looked at the latest readings on her screen. "Captain, the signals are getting stronger, and there's something else. Long-range sensors are picking up massive objects moving through space. They're heading toward the Kepler colony system." Morrison felt his blood run cold. Kepler colony was home to 2 million people, including families and children. If aliens were targeting it, he had to act fast. Send a message to Earth immediately. Tell them we have confirmation of alien ships approaching. Human space. And Lisa, keep monitoring those signals. I want to know the second anything changes. As the humans prepared for what they thought was an invasion, the alien signals continued to pour in from deep space. The mathematical patterns grew more complex, the emotional indicators more desperate. But nobody was listening to what they were really trying to say. Kevin Wright sat alone in his lab, staring at the screen full of alien symbols. He was sure they were missing something important. The signals felt wrong for an attack. They felt like someone screaming for help in a language nobody understood, but time was running out. The alien ships were getting closer, and humanity was preparing for war. Soon there would be no time left for understanding. Soon the shooting would start, and somewhere in the darkness of space, desperate beings continued to broadcast their plea for help to anyone who might listen. 3 weeks had passed since the first alien signal reached New Horizon Station. Lisa Martinez barely slept anymore. Every day brought new signals, stronger and more urgent than before. The patterns were becoming clearer, but nobody in command wanted to hear what she and Kevin Wright had discovered. "Lisa, come look at this," Kevin called from his workstation. His eyes were red from staring at screens for days. "The signals are changing. They're not just sending the same message anymore." Lisa walked over and saw what Kevin meant. The mathematical patterns now included star charts and what looked like coordinates. But there was something else in the signal now, something that made her feel sad even though she didn't understand why. "Kevin, do you feel that? When you look at these new patterns, do you feel something?" Kevin nodded slowly, like someone crying for help. "But that's impossible. How can a radio signal carry emotions?" Before Lisa could answer, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Captain Morrison's voice came over the speakers. "All personnel to battle stations. This is not a drill." Lisa and Kevin ran to the command center where Morrison was talking to someone on Earth through a secure channel. His face was pale and serious. Double quotes, "Yes, General Stone, I understand. We'll maintain position and keep monitoring," Morrison said then. Ended the call. "Captain, what's happening?" Lisa asked. Long-range sensors have detected a massive alien fleet approaching the outer colonies. 60 ships, each one larger than our biggest battleship. They'll reach the Kepler system in 2 days. Kevin felt his heart sink. Sir, the signals we've been receiving aren't hostile. I'm more convinced than ever that these aliens are asking for help. Dr. Wright, I respect your opinion, but Earth Command has made their decision. The entire human defense fleet is moving to intercept the aliens at Kepler Colony. Far from Jupiter, Commander Beth Turner sat in the captain's chair of the reconnaissance. Ship defiant, her crew was nervous. They had volunteered for this mission, but seeing the alien fleet with their own eyes was terrifying. Commander, we're getting a clear view of the alien ships now, reported her sensor officer, Lieutenant Dan Fox. Ma'am, these ships are like nothing we've ever seen. Beth looked at the main screen and gasped. The alien vessels were enormous, each one at least 5 times the size of her ship. But what made them truly frightening was how they looked. The ship seemed to be made of metal that moved and shifted like it was alive. Are they scanning us? Beth asked. No, ma'am. They don't seem to notice us at all. But Commander, I'm reading massive energy signatures from every ship. If those are weapons, they could destroy entire planets. Beth felt cold fear creep up her spine. Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them the alien fleet is bigger and more powerful than we thought, and tell them to hurry. On Earth, President Amanda Collins sat in the emergency meeting room with her top advisors. The room was full of worried faces and quiet voices. Everyone knew that humanity might be facing its greatest threat ever. General Stone, what's the current status of our fleet? President Collins asked. Madam President, Admiral Rodriguez has deployed 200 ships to the Kepler system. It's everything we have available for combat. The flagship Endeavour is leading the fleet. And you're sure these aliens are hostile? General Stone nodded firmly. The power readings from their ships are off the charts. No peaceful species needs that kind of firepower. They're coming to invade, and we have to stop them. President Collins looked around the room at her advisors. Dr. Adams, what does the science team think? Dr. Ellen Adams, the government's top scientist, shifted uncomfortably in her chair. Madam President, there are some scientists who think the aliens might be trying to communicate, but the majority agree that we can't take chances. What about the signals they've been sending? The signals are powerful and complex, but we can't be sure what they mean. It's possible there's some kind of targeting system for their weapons. President Collins made her decision. General Stone, Admiral Rodriguez has full authority to defend our colonies. If the aliens show any hostile intent, he's authorized to fire first. Back at the alien fleet, something was happening that humans didn't understand. The ships were not warships at all. They were rescue vessels, each one carrying millions of refugees from a dying part of the galaxy. The beings inside were scared and desperate, fleeing from something terrible that was destroying their homes. The largest ship in the fleet belonged to a species called the Cathener. Inside, their leader, a being whose name would translate to Seeker of Hope, was trying to communicate with the strange new species they had detected. The young ones are not responding to our calls for help, Seeker of Hope told his advisors. Perhaps they do not understand our language. We have been broadcasting for weeks, replied another Cathener. We have shown them mathematics, star charts, and even emotional patterns. How can they not understand that we need help? Their technology is primitive compared to ours, but their energy signatures show they are a growing species. Perhaps they are afraid of us. We cannot blame them for fear. We are afraid too, but we must make them understand. Our people are dying, and we need safe passage through their space. Meanwhile, Admiral Tony Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Endeavour, watching the alien fleet approach on his screens. He was a good man who had served humanity for 30 years, but he had also fought in the Zephyrian War. He knew what aliens could do to human worlds. Sir, we're in position, reported his navigation officer. The fleet is ready for combat. And the aliens? Still approaching, sir. They're moving slowly, but they haven't changed course. They'll reach the outer edge of the Kepler system in 6 hours? Rodriguez felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. 2 million people lived in the Kepler system, and it was his job to protect them. He had to make a choice that could save or doom them all. "Sir, incoming message from the alien fleet," his communications officer announced. "Put it through." The bridge filled with strange sounds and patterns. Mathematical sequences, energy bursts, and something that almost sounded like music. But to Rodriguez, it sounded like the targeting data he had heard during the Zephyrian War. "Sir, they're scanning our ships," reported the sensor officer. "Multiple energy beams are sweeping across our fleet." Rodriguez felt his blood run cold. In his experience, aliens scanned human ships right before they attacked. "All ships, prepare for combat, weapons hot, shields up." Back at New Horizons Station, Kevin Wright was making a breakthrough. Working with Sam Parker and Nina Wells, he had finally cracked part of the alien language. What he found made his hands shake. "Lisa, get Captain Morrison right now," Kevin said urgently. "What is it?" "The aliens aren't invading, they're refugees. The signals aren't weapons data, they're distress calls. They're asking for help, not threatening us." Lisa ran to get Morrison while Kevin worked frantically to decode more of the message. The aliens were fleeing from something called the Void Hunger, a force that destroyed everything in its path. Their ships weren't warships, but rescue vessels, filled with families and children. "Captain Morrison, you have to contact Earth Command right now," Kevin said when Morrison arrived. "These aliens aren't enemies. They're refugees running from something terrible." Morrison looked at the data Kevin had decoded. "Are you certain about this?" "As certain as I can be. Sir, our fleet is about to attack innocent people who just want help." Morrison felt sick. If Kevin was right, humanity was about to make a terrible mistake. "Get me a direct line to Admiral Rodriguez, now." But as Morrison tried to contact the fleet, the alien ships reached the edge of the Kepler system. Rodriguez, thinking he was protecting human lives, gave the order that would change everything. "All ships, open fire." The human fleet unleashed everything they had at the alien vessels. Energy beams and missiles streaked across space toward the refugee ships. The aliens, surprised by the sudden attack, struggled to raise their defenses. On the alien ships, families that had already lost their homes now faced destruction from the very species they had hoped would help them. The Kythaner leader watched in horror as human weapons tore into his ship's hull. "Why are they attacking us?" his advisor asked. "We came in peace, asking for help." Seeker of Hope felt sadness fill his heart. Perhaps they do not understand. Or perhaps they are like the others who turned us away. The battle had begun, but it was not the battle anyone had wanted. It was a tragedy born of fear and misunderstanding, and it would change both species forever. The first human missiles struck the alien ships like angry fists. Admiral Rodriguez watched from the bridge of the Endeavour as his weapons found their targets. But something was wrong. The alien ships were not fighting back. "So the aliens are raising shields, but they're not returning fire," reported Commander Helen Foster from the destroyer Vigilant. "They're just trying to protect themselves." Rodriguez felt confused. In every battle he had fought, enemies shot back immediately. These aliens had weapons that could destroy planets, but they were not using them. Maybe it's a trick. Keep firing. The human fleet unleashed another wave of attacks. Energy beams and missiles flew across space, hitting the alien vessels hard. Several of the smaller alien ships began to leak atmosphere and energy, but still they did not fight back on the largest alien ship. Seeker of Hope held onto his command chair as the ship shook from human weapons. His people were dying, and he did not understand why. The young species was attacking them without reason. "Leader, should we defend ourselves?" asked his military advisor. "Our weapons could stop this attack." Seeker of Hope felt pain in his heart. "No, if we fight back, they will think we are truly enemies. Keep trying to communicate. Show them we mean no harm." The Kythaner ship began broadcasting new signals. Pictures of their children, their families, their destroyed homes. Mathematical symbols that meant peace and friendship. But the human fleet saw only more alien transmissions and kept attacking, far away at New Horizons Station. Kevin Wright was screaming into his communication device. Admiral Rodriguez, you have to stop the attack. Those are not warships. They're refugee ships full of families. But his message was lost in the chaos of battle. The military channels were too busy with combat orders to hear one scientist's desperate plea. Captain Morrison grabbed Kevin's arm. Are you absolutely sure about this? Captain, I've decoded enough of their language to know they're running from something terrible. They came here asking for help, not to hurt us. Morrison made a decision that would save lives. He activated the station's emergency broadcast system, sending Kevin's message on every frequency at once. All ships, this is Captain Morrison at New Horizons Station. Stop firing immediately. The aliens are refugees, not invaders. Admiral Rodriguez heard the message just as he was about to order another attack. Say again, New Horizons Station. Sir, the aliens are refugees fleeing from some kind of disaster. They're not here to attack us. They're asking for help. Rodriguez felt ice in his stomach. He looked at the alien ships on his screen. They were damaged and bleeding atmosphere, but they were still trying to communicate instead of fighting. All ships, cease fire immediately. The human weapons stopped firing, but the damage was already done. 3 alien ships were badly hurt, and thousands of beings were dead or dying. The largest alien ship limped forward, still broadcasting the same peaceful signals. Sir, the aliens are responding to our ceasefire, reported the communications. Officer, they're sending new signals. Rodriguez closed his eyes. Put them through. The bridge filled with alien sounds, but this time they were different, sadder, more desperate. And somehow Rodriguez could feel the emotion in them. These beings were not angry at the humans for attacking them. They were still asking for help. Sir, we're getting a transmission from someone who speaks our language, the officer said with surprise. How is that possible? I don't know, sir, but it's coming from the New Horizons Station. Rodriguez realized that Dr. Wright must have figured out how to communicate with the aliens. Put him through. Kevin Wright's voice came through the speakers, but he was not alone. There was another voice with him, speaking in broken human words. Admiral. Rodriguez, this is Dr. Wright. I have a representative of the alien species with me. They call themselves the Kyphenor. They are not enemies. Dr. Wright, how did you learn to communicate with them? I've been working on their language for weeks. Admiral, you need to hear what they have to say. The alien voice spoke slowly, using simple human words. We are sorry for frightening you. We came seeking help, not to make war. Our homes are gone. Our children are dying. We need safe place to rest. Rodriguez felt sick. He had attacked innocent people who were asking for help. Dr. Wright asked them what happened to their homes. There was a pause as Kevin translated. Then the alien voice returned, sadder than before. Great darkness comes. It eats stars, planets, everything. We call it void hunger. It destroyed 12. Of our star systems, we are all that remains. How many of your people are on these ships? Rodriguez asked. Millions, families, children, old ones. We have been traveling for many cycles, looking for safe harbor. We thought young species like yours might help us. Rodriguez looked around his bridge. His officers were staring at him with shocked faces. They had just attacked a fleet of refugees, including children. Dr. Wright, tell them we are sorry. Tell them we made a terrible mistake. Admiral, they already know. They say they understand fear. They are afraid too. Rodriguez made a decision that would change everything. All ships stand down to minimal alert. Medical teams prepare to assist alien casualties and get me a direct line to Earth Command. Within minutes, Rodriguez was speaking to General Stone and President Collins. Ma'am, we have a situation. The aliens are not invaders. They're refugees fleeing from something that destroyed their entire civilization. Admiral, are you certain about this? President Collins asked. Yes, ma'am. We've established communication with them. They're running from something called the void hunger that destroys everything in its path. And ma'am, we attacked them when they came here asking for help. There was silence on the other end of the communication. Finally, President Collins spoke. Admiral, what do they need from us? Safe passage through our space and temporary shelter. For their people? Ma'am, they have millions of refugees, including children and families. General Stone's voice was tight with worry. Admiral, what about this void hunger they mentioned? Is it a threat to us? Rodriguez looked at the alien ships on his screen. They were still broadcasting peaceful signals despite being attacked. I don't know, General. But if it destroyed their entire civilization, it might be a threat to everyone. Back. On the alien ship, Seeker of Hope was talking to his advisors. The human attack had been stopped, but many of his people were hurt. Still, there was hope now. The young species was listening. Leader, should we trust them? Asked his advisor. They attacked us without warning. They were afraid, Seeker of Hope replied. Fear makes all species do foolish things. But they stopped. When they learned the truth, that shows wisdom. Dr. Wright was working frantically to improve communication with the aliens. He had brought Sam Parker and Nina Wells to help, and together they were building a translation system that could work in real time. Kevin, ask them about this void hunger, Sam said. If it's really destroying star systems, we need to know if... It's coming here, Kevin spoke into the communication device. The alien response came quickly and filled with fear. The void hunger moves slowly but never stops. It has already consumed the outer edge of our galaxy. If nothing stops it, it will reach your space in perhaps 50 of your years. Nina looked up from her computer. Kevin, ask them if there's a way to stop it. There was a long pause before the alien answered. We do not know. Many species have tried. All have failed, but perhaps young species like yours might find a way. You think differently than we do? Rodriguez realized that humanity was facing a choice. They could help the refugees and maybe learn about this cosmic threat, or they could turn them away and face the void hunger alone when it arrived. Dr. Wright, tell the Kyphaner that we want to help. But we need to know everything about this void hunger. Admiral, they're willing to share everything they know, but they're also asking for immediate help. They have wounded people who need medical care. Rodriguez looked at his fleet. These were warships, not hospital ships. But they were all humanity had to offer. All ships with medical facilities prepare to receive alien casualties. And somebody get me a line to Earth. We're going to need more help than we can provide. As human medical teams prepared to help alien refugees, both species realized that this was bigger than just a misunderstanding. The void hunger was coming, and it would take both humans and aliens working together to have any hope of stopping it. The battle was over, but the real challenge was just beginning. The human medical teams worked through the night to save alien lives. Dr. Susan Miller had been a military doctor for 15 years, but she had never treated anyone who wasn't human. Now she found herself trying to help beings whose bodies were completely different from anything she knew. The alien physiology is unlike anything we've studied, she reported to Admiral Rodriguez. But they're helping us understand how to treat their wounded. They're being very patient with us. Rodriguez watched through the observation window as human doctors worked alongside alien healers. The aliens were tall and thin, with silver skin that seemed to glow softly. Their large eyes showed intelligence and kindness, even after everything that had happened. Dr. Miller, how many did we lose? Rodriguez asked quietly. 12,000 alien civilians, sir, including many children. Miller's voice was heavy with sadness. Admiral, these people have already lost so much. Their homes, their worlds, most of their people. And then we attacked them when they came asking for help. Rodriguez felt the weight of those deaths on his shoulders. He had made the decision to fire first, and innocent people had died because of it. Are their leaders willing to speak with us? Yes, sir. They want to meet with you and explain about the threat they're running from. An hour later, Rodriguez stood in the main conference room of the Endeavor. Across from him was Seeker of Hope, the leader of the Kyphaner refugees. The alien was tall and graceful, with eyes that held both wisdom and deep sadness. Dr. Kevin Wright stood between them, translating as they spoke. His translation device was getting better, but some ideas were still hard to express in human words. Seeker of Hope says he understands why you attacked, Kevin translated. His people have met other young species who were afraid of them. Fear is natural when meeting something unknown. Tell him I'm sorry for the deaths we caused, Rodriguez said. We made a terrible mistake. Seeker of Hope listened to the translation, then spoke in his musical language. Kevin nodded as he translated. He says that in times of great danger, all species make mistakes. What matters is what we do after we learn the truth. Ask him about this void hunger. What exactly are we facing? Seeker of Hope's expression became darker as he began to explain. Through Kevin's translation, Rodriguez learned about a horror beyond imagination. The void hunger began long ago when an ancient species tried to use dark matter for energy. They lost control of their experiment and created something that consumes everything it touches. Stars, planets, entire solar systems disappear into nothingness. How fast does it move? Rodriguez asked. Slowly by space standards, but it never stops. It has been growing for thousands of years. Our people studied it for generations, trying to find a way to stop it. And you found nothing? Seeker of Hope spoke for a long time, his voice filled with pain. Kevin translated carefully. They tried everything. Energy barriers, weapons, even attempts to feed it other forms of matter to slow it down. Nothing worked. The void hunger just grew stronger with everything it consumed. Rodriguez felt cold fear creep up his spine. How long before it reaches human space? Perhaps 50 of your years, maybe less. It depends on what it finds to consume. Along the way, President Collins listened to Admiral Rodriguez's report with growing horror. She sat in the emergency meeting room on Earth, surrounded by her top advisors and military leaders. So we're facing the complete destruction of our civilization in 50 years? She asked. Possibly, Madam President. The aliens have shared their scientific data with us. This thing has destroyed dozens of civilizations and shows no signs of slowing down. General Stone leaned forward. Admiral, do the aliens have any weapons or technology that might help? They have advanced technology, but nothing that stopped the void hunger. However, they think humanity might have something they lack. What's that? Rodriguez paused. They say we think differently than other species. Where they see impossible problems, we see puzzles to solve. They want to work with our scientists to find a solution. President Collins looked around the room. Dr. Adams, what do our scientists think? Dr. Ellen Adams had been studying the alien data for hours. Madam President, the void hunger appears to be a self-sustaining dark matter reaction. Theoretically, it might be possible to disrupt it, but it would require technology we don't have and resources beyond anything we've ever attempted. But it's possible? Maybe the aliens have knowledge we lack and we have approaches they haven't tried? Working together, we might have a chance. General Stone stood up. Madam President, we also need to discuss the refugee situation. The aliens have millions of people who need food, shelter, and medical care. Our colonies don't have the resources to support that many beings. President Collins realized that humanity was facing two huge challenges at once. They had to help millions of alien refugees while also trying to save the galaxy from complete destruction. Admiral Rodriguez, what do the aliens need immediately? Food, medical supplies, and temporary housing. But ma'am, they're not asking for charity, they want to work. They have skills and knowledge that could help us. Back at the alien fleet, Seeker of Hope was meeting with other refugee leaders. The ships carried not just Caithaner, but survivors from several species that have been consumed by the void hunger. The humans are young and make mistakes, said Elder Brightwind of the Azari people. But they stopped fighting when they learned the truth. That shows wisdom. Their technology is primitive compared to ours, added Commander Swiftcurrent of the Navy, but their thinking is different. They see solutions where we see only problems. Seeker of Hope nodded. Perhaps that is what we need. We have tried to solve the void hunger with logic and advanced science. But these humans use something else. They use hope and stubbornness. Dr. Kevin Wright was working with a team of alien scientists in a temporary laboratory set up on one of the human ships. The aliens had shared their knowledge freely, and Kevin was amazed by what he learned. The void hunger isn't just consuming matter, he explained to Sam Parker and Nina Wells. It's actually converting normal matter into dark matter, which makes it grow stronger. So it's like a virus that spreads by changing everything around it, Sam said. Exactly. But here's the interesting part. The aliens have been trying to fight it with energy and force. They haven't tried to outsmart it. Nina looked up from her computer. What do you mean? What if we don't try to destroy it? What if we try to confuse it or redirect it somehow? The alien scientist working with them, a Kythano named Seeker of Truth, spoke through the translation device. Your idea is interesting. We have always thought in terms of stopping the void hunger, but perhaps we could make it stop itself. Kevin felt excitement building. That's it. Instead of fighting it directly, we find a way to disrupt the reaction that keeps it going. Captain Lisa Barnes had volunteered to work directly with the alien refugees. She was one of the first humans, too. Visit their ships and see how they lived. What she found surprised her. The aliens were not so different from humans. They had families, children, hopes, and fears. They told stories, created art, and loved their children just like humans did. The main difference was that they had lost everything and were trying to rebuild their lives. The children are the hardest part, she reported to Admiral Rodriguez. They don't understand why they had to leave their homes. They ask when they can go back, and the adults don't know what to tell them. Are they willing to settle in human space permanently? Some are. Others hope they can eventually reclaim their worlds after the void hunger is stopped. But Admiral, they all want to help. Even the children are offering to work and contribute however they can. Rodriguez realized that humanity had gained something precious. Not just allies in a fight against cosmic destruction, but new friends, who could teach them about the galaxy and help them grow as a species. Commander Rick Davis led the combined human and alien science team tasked with finding a solution to the void hunger. Working together, they discovered something that neither species had found alone. The void hunger has a pattern, Davis announced at the daily briefing. It's not random. It follows specific energy signatures and gravitational fields. What does that mean for stopping it? Rodriguez asked. It means we might be able to predict where it will go next. And if we can predict its path, we might be able to set a trap. Seeker of Hope spoke through the translator. What kind of trap could contain something that destroys entire star systems? Davis smiled. Not contain it, redirect it. If we can build a large enough gravitational mirror, we might be able to reflect the void hunger back on itself. The room fell silent as everyone realized what Davis was suggesting. It was impossible with current technology, but maybe working together they could make the impossible possible. How large would this mirror need to be? President Collins asked over the communication link. Bigger than anything ever built. We'd need the combined resources of multiple star systems and technology from both our species. Seeker of Hope spoke again. My people have the energy manipulation technology. Your people have the creative thinking. Together, we might succeed where others have failed. Rodriguez looked around the room at humans and aliens working side by side. A few weeks ago, they had been preparing for war. Now they were planning to save the galaxy together. 6 months had passed since the first meeting between humans and the Kythano refugees. What had begun as a terrible misunderstanding had grown into the largest cooperation project in galactic history. Across human space, colonies worked day and night to help their new alien neighbors while building the impossible device that might save everyone. Lisa Martinez stood on the observation deck of New Horizons Station, watching the construction ships work. Where once there had been empty space, now a massive structure was taking shape. The gravitational mirror was bigger than any space station ever built, its metal framework stretching for hundreds of kilometers in all directions. It's hard to believe we're actually building this thing, said Captain Morrison, joining Lisa at the window. Dr. Wright says the math works. If we can reflect the void hunger back on itself, it should collapse into nothing. Morrison nodded, but his expression was worried. And if we're wrong, then we lose everything anyway. At least this way, we're trying. Down on Earth, President Collins was visiting one of the refugee settlements that had been built to house alien families. Human and Kathaner children played together in the gardens, while their parents worked on various parts of the Mirror Project. How are they adjusting? She asked Mayor Janet Stone of New Denver Colony. Better than we expected, Madam President. The alien families are grateful for the help, and they're contributing more than we ever imagined. Their technology has improved. Our farming, our medicine, even our schools. Collins watched a human child teaching an alien child how to play soccer while the alien child showed the human how to make music with colored lights. Any problems with integration? Some at first. People were scared after the initial conflict. But once they met the refugees personally, especially the children, most of the fear went away. It's hard to be afraid of someone when you've shared dinner with their family. In space near the construction site, Admiral Rodriguez commanded the largest fleet ever assembled. Ships from every human colony worked alongside alien vessels, all focused on the same goal. The flagship Endeavour had been converted into a mobile command center for the project. Admiral, we have a problem, reported Commander Davis from the science station. The void hunger is moving faster than we predicted. Our long-range sensors show it's consumed 2 more star systems in the past month. Rodriguez felt his stomach drop. How much time do we have? At this rate, maybe 18 months before it reaches the outer edge of human space. We need to finish the mirror and deploy it within a year. Can we do it? Davis looked at his calculations. It's going to be close, sir. We're building something that should take decades to complete. But with the alien technology and every resource we have, we might make it. On the alien command ship, Seeker of Hope was meeting with the other refugee leaders. The Kathaner had been joined by survivors from 6 other species, all working together on the Mirror Project. The humans continue to surprise us, said Elder Brightwind. They work harder than any species we have encountered. Even their children want to help. Their determination is remarkable, agreed Commander Swiftcurrent. When they believe in something, they refuse to give up. Perhaps that is what we needed all along. Seeker of Hope looked at the construction reports. Human and alien teams were working around the clock, sharing knowledge and resources freely. They have given us something we thought we had lost forever. Hope. Dr. Kevin Wright had become the chief coordinator between human and alien scientists. His small translation device had grown into a massive communication network that allowed thousands of researchers to work together in real time. The key breakthrough came when we combined human creativity with alien precision, he explained to a group of reporters. Humans are good at thinking outside normal rules. Aliens are good at making impossible things actually work. Together, we found solutions that neither side could have discovered alone. Dr. Wright, what are the chances of success? Asked reporter Mary Chun. Kevin paused. He wanted to be honest, but also didn't want to cause panic. The theory is sound. The engineering is possible. But we're attempting something that has never been tried before. We're essentially building a mirror the size of a small moon to reflect a force that destroys star systems. And if it doesn't work, then we keep trying until we find something. That's what humans do. The construction work was dangerous. Teams had to work close to the void hunger's path to position the mirror correctly. Captain Helen Foster led one of the advanced teams, working with alien engineers to place the massive gravity generators. Human ship Vigilant, this is Kathaner. Vessel Bright Hope, came a transmission. We are detecting fluctuations in the dark matter field. The void hunger may be closer than we thought. Foster checked her sensors and felt her blood run cold. The readings showed the edge of the void hunger was less than a light year away. All teams, this is Foster. We need to finish the installation now. We may not get another chance. Human and alien crews worked frantically to complete the final connections. The gravity generators were massive devices that could bend space itself, creating the mirror effect they needed. but they had to be positioned precisely or the whole plan would fail. Captain Foster, the last generator is in position, reported Lieutenant Dan Fox. All systems are connected and ready for activation. Bright Hope, are your people ready? Yes, Captain Foster. All Kythoner ships are standing by. It has been an honor working with your species. Foster felt emotion in her throat. The honor has been ours. Let's save the galaxy. Back at the command center, Admiral Rodriguez received confirmation that the mirror was complete. It had taken the combined efforts of dozens of species and billions of individuals. That they had done the impossible in record time. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the Void Hunger's edge, reported the communications officer. It's the automated warning beacon from the Nexus system. The Void Hunger has reached it. Rodriguez watched the readings as an entire star system disappeared into nothingness. Millions of years of planetary development gone in moments. That's our target. Activate the gravitational mirror. Across space, the massive device came to life. Gravity generators the size of battleships created a field that bent space itself into a perfect reflecting surface. Energy readings spiked, beyond anything ever recorded as the mirror prepared to face the Void Hunger. Mirror is active and stable, reported Davis. Now we wait to see if our theory works. The Void Hunger moved into the mirror's field slowly but inevitably. For a moment nothing seemed to happen. Then readings began to spike as the cosmic force encountered its own reflection for the first time in thousands of years. Admiral, we're getting strange readings, Davis said excitedly. The Void Hunger is slowing down. The mirror is actually reflecting it back on itself. On the observation screens, they could see something that no one had witnessed before. The Void Hunger, which had consumed countless civilizations, was beginning to collapse as it fed on its own energy instead of new matter. It's working, whispered Rodriguez. The mirror is actually working. The collapse took hours, but when it was over, the threat that had destroyed dozens of species was gone. Space returned to normal, and the stars shone brightly where the Void Hunger had been. Across human and alien space, celebrations erupted. On Earth, people danced in the streets. On the refugee settlements, alien families cried tears of joy. In space, human and alien crews hugged each other and shared their victory, but the real celebration was quieter and more meaningful. In the gardens of New Denver Colony, human and alien children played together under the same sun. In laboratories across the galaxy, scientists from multiple species continued to work together, solving problems and exploring the universe. Dr. Wright stood on the bridge of New Horizons Station, watching ships from dozens of species working together to help other refugees return to their reclaimed worlds. What had started as a cry for help that was misunderstood had become the foundation for a new galactic community. Lisa, do you think we would have found a solution if we had worked alone? He asked. Lisa Martinez smiled as she watched a human ship and a Kythoner vessel working together to rebuild a damaged space station. No, we needed each other. The aliens had the knowledge, but we had the stubbornness to keep trying when everyone else said it was impossible. And now? Now we have something better than either species had alone. We have friends. Seeker of Hope sent a final message to all the species that had participated in the project. Through Kevin's translation network, it reached every world and every ship in the galaxy. The young species called humans have taught us something we had forgotten. When faced with the impossible, the answer is not to give up, but to find others who can help you carry the burden. Together we are stronger than any force in the universe. Admiral Rodriguez, now serving as humanity's first ambassador to the Galactic Refugee Council, reflected on how much had changed. Humanity had gone from a fearful, isolated species to the heart of a galactic alliance, dedicated to helping those in need. The war that never happened had become the cooperation that saved everyone. And in the end, that made all the difference.